everyone. This is Peggy Richards Patty, and you are watching Through the Back Loop podcast. It's a knitting podcast. Actually, was informed by my daughter recently that it's not really a podcast. It's more like a video blog, or I don't know what other terms there are for it, but somehow it got called a podcast, and I've just sort of stuck with that. Anyway, here we are on March 18th, 2020, and such an incredible, intense time in our history, and everyone's hunkering down dealing with the coronavirus. Our family is here, at home. My adult children came down from LA to celebrate a birthday and have just stayed here. So no one's been out of the house for, well, besides walks and things like that, but nobody's really been out of the house for several days now. And I had stockpiled a lot of food, and I feel like I've eaten most of it. I don't know what this is going to do to me physically, even if I don't get the virus, because I'm not taking my spinning class. I'm going for walks, stuff like that, but doing a lot of stress eating. So I hope you're doing well and everyone's staying safe and staying home. And I thought it would be good to do a podcast today, just kind of to reiterate how thankful I am for this hobby, and just during these stressful times, what an incredible gift knitting is for all of us. So I hope you're finding some solace and comfort, and just getting cozy and nesting in your house, and doing what you love to do with knitting. I remember several years ago, after 9/11, I worked part-time in a knitting store, and I remember, well, actually I started working there a couple of years after 9/11, and I remember the owner saying that that day caused her business to completely change, that she was barely making it as an entrepreneur, and 9/11 happened, and people wanted to be in their homes and they wanted to be comforted, and that her business skyrocketed after 9/11. I thought that was so fascinating. And I really hope that, that can happen. I do worry about the local yarn stores and many of the small businesses that are in the industry. This is just such trying times, and so many people are on, such a fine line of making a profit and not. So I really hope that if you are able, that you can support small businesses in the fiber community. I've done my share lately. I was supposed to go to Vogue Knitting Live. I was in Seattle, and of course that was called off. So there was several of the vendors that had online event, and I'll show you what I purchased. To support some of those vendors. La Merced was supposed to vend at that event, and so I purchased, she had a virtual, I don't know what they called it, virtual vendor market, and so she was running, I think it was 15% off of a lot of her yarns, and I purchased this La Bien-Aimée sock yarn, and I was looking, a lot of this, it is hand-dyed in Paris, and a lot of the, everything's in French. I guess there's a little bit here that tells the content that's not in French, but I don't know the name of the colorway, but I just thought it was so beautiful. And it is sock yarn, so it does have 20% nylon and 80% merino. I believe that's right. Let me double check. And I was going to do some socks with it. Yeah. It's 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. I was going to do some socks, but my gosh, it's so beautiful. I think I have to do something else with it. So I'm not sure what that's going to be. And then I also purchased this beautiful, I have 3 of these. This is the Olan is the brand. And oh my gosh, stuff's incredible. It's 70 alpaca, 20 silk, and 10% cashmere. And I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to do one of Andrea Mallory's new patterns with this, one with the yoke that's Surrey alpaca. I'll put it down below. I'm not thinking of the name of it at the moment, but anyway, I did purchase that to try to make up for Vogue Knitting Live being canceled. And then I also purchased something from one of our local yarn shops here in San Diego, the Apricot Supply Company in San Diego. And they were doing free shipping. And so I just placed an order today, and I ordered like a pom-pom magazine and a couple of skeins of yarn. And so my heart goes out to everybody. It's such a trying time. And then also I ordered from Chelsea Yarns, and I don't have it yet. It hasn't come in yet. But I ordered the Chelsea Luxe Soleil in the confetti color, and it is going to be interesting because it's superwash merino, but it's also got some linen in it. So I'm pretty excited about that. And speaking of Chelsea Yarns and Chelsea Pearls podcast, I just want to welcome so many of my new subscribers. Christina, bless her heart, gave me a little shout out on her podcast, and my little, channel of like 50 jumped up significantly, and I'm just so indebted to her. She's such a sweetheart to do that, and I love her yarn anyway, and then in light of what's been happening, I was just like, oh, I want to make a purchase, and support her. So I know it's an unknown time for all of us, but if you are able, I hope you can do something to support the local yarn stores and, just the community in general. And again, I am so thankful for just the calmness of knitting, and I hope that is bringing you some comfort and some peace. Moving on, I wanted to show you a couple of finished projects. This is a finished project. I actually have two of them. And I think my last episode, I was halfway finished with this, but now the whole pair is done. And this is the Waffle Rib Socks. And this was a free pattern on Ravelry. And I kind of struggled with this a bit. It is top-down construction. They asked you to cast on 73 stitches, and I thought, well, that's kind of strange because I usually take I think 64, and but I just trusted the pattern, and I did size 1, and I figured the waffle would pull in some of it, which it did a little bit. But I could tell, and I think I mentioned this before, I had to do modifications and go down to a size 0. And then when I got down here, I had to decrease quite a few stitches. And then I kind of added them back in when I got ready to do the toe. So the pattern was something that I had to modify. But I love the color. This is Long Dog Yarns. Colorway, I'll look it up on Ravelry again and see. I forget what the name of the colorway is, but I really do love the colorway. And the socks are nice. I just had to kind of fiddle around with it a lot to make it fit me. So that's my first finished object. The second finished object that I have, and I will put in a picture of me wearing it, but this is the Emma cardigan by Coco Knits. Well, actually, it's by Julie Weisenberger. She's the designer, and I've shown you the book that I have of hers. That where is it? Oh, it's down on the floor. I can't reach it at the moment. But anyway, it's just called the Coco Knits Sweater Workshop, and it has wonderful detailed directions on all of her sweaters. And this one is the Emma. It's version C. This is chunky yarn that is 68% alpaca, 22% silk, and 10% merino. And oh my gosh, I wish you could feel this. This is like the softest, warmest, lightest. It's not heavy at all. And had a little technical difficulty there, but we're back. I was going to tell you about this yarn. This is made by Blue Sky Fibers. It's called Techno, and I'm thrilled with the way it turned out. It is. I was going to tell you a little bit about the construction. It's top-down construction, and you do start at the back of the neck, and then you end up picking up some stitches. And I know this is a paid-for book, but I just want to show you a quick little picture. I think I marked it. How you pick up. You actually use a DPN, and I don't know if you can see that. Hold on. But you use a DPN and you pick up, I don't know if that's going to work or not. You pick up, see step 2 where you use that DPN and kind of pick up the ladder stitches. I mean, I had never done anything like that before, and Julie's amazing that she that she came up with this method, because it makes it really, really sturdy and really fitted. It fits nicely. The sleeves are tailored, and the shoulder, it creates the shoulder. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really a cool design. I'm really impressed, and I definitely want to make some more out of that book. The other thing that was super interesting is the pockets. The pockets are fabric pockets, and I did struggle just a little bit figuring out how to do that, but I had some leftover Liberty fabric, and you hand stitch it in. And so it took a few little tries, and I haven't tacked, I just blocked this, so I do need to tack the fabric back. I'll actually tack it towards the front of the sweater so it lays, so it lays a little more flat. But I didn't want to do that until after I blocked it, because I was afraid the yarn would change. But anyway, I feel like it'll be a really nice, just basic cardigan, and really good for the weather we're having here in Southern California. It's been, ever since the coronavirus has been in existence, we've been experiencing a lot of rain and gray days. I don't know, I feel like maybe when the sun comes out that maybe everybody's mood will lift a little bit more. But we have what people call gray May and June gloom, so I've got a couple of months of cloudy weather where I hope that this cardigan will come in handy. And then I wanted to share with you some of my, I've been pretty monogamous on this work in progress, making some leeway on it. This is going to be what is called, let me look at it, the Rochoish, I guess. It's by Kate Davies. I think I showed the picture if you saw my last podcast. Here's a picture. And so I'm really almost done with this part, this rectangular part, and then I'll pick up and knit this part. And I'm a little concerned about running out of yarn. To get gauge, I had to be on a smaller needle, and it came as a kit and for a size small, so I sure hope I have enough. I don't know if I'd be really sad if I didn't, because I think these are discontinued. She had a sale on her website, and that's been several months ago. So I hope this turns out okay, but it's been interesting doing all these huge baubles. I did decide to go ahead and do as the pattern called for, and each bauble is 5 stitches, and it's created into 1 stitch, and then you decrease it back down, and that's how that bauble is formed. And I had read, I think I talked about it previously, I had read that some people chose to just do 3, increase 3, and I thought, well, I just want to do what the pattern says. And these are really big baubles. I don't know when they're blocked, if I can get them a little more round. Like, some of them are really shaped kind of funny, so hopefully when I block that, I can kind of get them a little more uniform. But it's been easy and fun, and I just hope, I'm just, praying that I don't run out of yarn. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes. And then what I'm wearing today, I'm sure most of you recognize this. This is the Zweig by Caitlin Hunter, and I think this is probably it would be one of my guesses, one of the most popular sweaters. So many people have knit this thing in the last several years. I'm not sure when she came out with it, but I was kind of late to the party. I knit it. I think I finished it. A year and a half or 2 years ago, and I wear it all the time. It's so comfortable, and I ended up using a fingering single, which makes it so comfortable and soft. And I was worried about it pilling and not wearing, but so far it's been fine. I mean, I think under the arms I probably could glean it, and there's a few little worn pieces there, but it's not terrible. And it's just so comfortable. I wear it a lot. It's nice and thin, but it's warm. So that's the Zweig by Caitlin Hunter, and one of my favorite sweaters. Speaking of colorways, you may have noticed my hair color changed just a little bit. I put some color back in my hair. I'm kind of having a hair crisis since I let it go gray, and then just felt like I was so washed out. So I recently had a few pieces of dark put back into it, which is kind of strange because my natural color is actually really blonde, and so it's kind of weird to see it almost brownish. But anyway, with the coronavirus, maybe I'd be forced to go all gray again. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, well, as far as future knitting, I had shared before that I plan on working on the Veneto sweater. I'll put a picture up, and planning on using the yarn that I got at Stitches West. So that'll be a new cast on. And this is a really short podcast, but I just wanted to get on and say I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe and you're comfortable, and do what you can for each other. And we knitters are luckier than most that we have this hobby that we love so much. So stay calm, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Take good care.